What's going on, everyone? My name is Bruno and this is Odbf Season 7 Power Rankings. So first off, thanks to HB for inviting me to do this Power Rankings for this season. If you don't know me, my name is Bruno and I played on Odbf during Season 5. I was actually voted as Coach of the Season. And I'm a Draftly veteran player that mainly plays on Wi-Fi currently. I actually have a Showdown League that I play, but it's pretty much the only one. Mainly I play on Wi-Fi, and I am here to do power rankings for you guys. So you decided that you wanted coaches ranked from 16 to 1. So thanks you guys for the hard work. I'd rather have grades, but okay, I did 16 to 1 without a problem. Before we start, let me just say that this is my personal opinions. This was kind of hard to do, honestly, especially rank the first 8 teams because the teams were decently good. So it was kind of hard. If you don't agree, I mean, it's fine. This is just personal opinions, doesn't matter too much. Actually, if I'm not wrong, there's a trend on ODBF that I think the team that got first every season in the power rankings never wins. So that doesn't, these rankings doesn't mean much. They are just my personal opinions. And yeah, I mean, you can start. I didn't take any notes on teams, so I just ranked what I feel. I mean, for me, the overall ranking of the teams, what I thought about the teams, I just ranked them. I didn't take any notes, so I hope I don't forget anything about it. But let's just start. So, team number 16, I ranked. Why this is not advancing? Wait. Okay, so team number 16, I ranked the Ferocious Ferrothorns. I put the remaining points, I print them as well because it's pretty interesting to analyze that as well. Having 14 points, it's a lot. I ranked this team 16 because, I mean, for me, it's not a good team. Doesn't have much, what's the word? I mean, it doesn't pair well together. Like Breloom as a first round 1 pick is weird. Orange Gullies, Iron Thorns, I mean, they are fine. I mean, I think it's synergy. I think it's synergy. That's the word. I think this team has 0 synergy. I mean, it's really weird. I don't think I ever saw a team without that much remaining points. Terra Normal here, I don't think what it does for this team, honestly. For me, it's just a bunch of Pokemon put together with 0 synergy. In terms of hazards, I mean, you have Iron Thorns, you have Bisharp, it's fine. Other than that, I really don't like this. Doesn't make any sense to me. Having Orange Gullies, Bisharp on the same team, I mean, for me, this doesn't make sense. I don't know what was the idea here, but I mean, this is just my opinion. Maybe the coach here can do something with this. I wouldn't do anything with this, honestly. But that's just me. I mean, Ceruledge is a nice Pokemon with the Terra option. I don't think Terra Normal is the best. I think Ceruledge is the better Terra Captain here. I mean, Bisharp with Sword Dance can actually work as well, but it doesn't lose the fighting weakness. So I don't know. I mean, I don't see any synergy here. And there's no really a powerhouse here. Of course, Breloom hits hard. Orange Gullies hits hard. Ceruledge hits hard. But at the same time, the thing here is there's no synergy. There's nothing here I can take. I can't see anything good here, honestly. But that's just me. I will not be able to do anything with this team. Maybe the coach proves I'm wrong, and that they can do something with it. Next is the Abomasnow Avalanche coach by Rauko19. This has Annihilate, Screamtail, Donphan, Gallade, Farigiraf, Altaria, Bombardier, Zangoose, Toxicroak, and Cloyster. There's 9 points remaining here, which is actually interesting as well. That the two teams with more points remaining are the last two teams in the rankings. When I first look at this, I thought, well, this is decent. But then I looked again and again and again. I mean, there's no point in having Altaria Bombardier. The Terra fighting here, I think Gallade is a phenomenal Terra captain. Annihilate is a phenomenal Terra captain. I don't think Terra fighting are decent in those. Of course, they are gonna boost their fighting stab, but at the same time, I think they will work with any other Terra typing. Steel, for example, Fairy. Just to name two Terra types that could work well here. I mean, at least I like the defensive option of Donphan and Screamtail. Donphan to set up hazards, same with Screamtail. Screamtail to actually set up screens plus the Annihilate and Gallade. Seems cool. I don't think it makes any sense to have 3 fighting types in like Annihilate, Annihilate, Gallade, and Toxicroak, especially with the Terra option being fighting as well. And then the ice switching is Cloyster, so this team gets wrecked by Freeze-Rai. Besides like a Screamtail, but it's like Specs Freeze-Rai, it's gonna hurt. So, I mean, there are a lot of things here. Double flying doesn't make sense to me as well. There are things I like singularly. Annihilate as a Pokemon's phenomenal. Gallade as a Pokemon's phenomenal. Screamtail and Donphan as a defensive backbone, I think it's really cool. But then there are like I don't think having Annihilate, Gallade, Toxicroak, lacking a steel type. I mean, there's the other thing. Like this team has there's no steel type here, which is big. It's truly big. Like there's no point in having 3 fighting types and not having a steel type. That would be another ice switching. Because if Cloyster isn't in every single week, this team gets wrecked by Ice Beam. Just for Ice Stab. Any Ice Stab. And that's big. That's kind of big. So, again, there are a couple of things I like here. But as the single options, as a team put together, this doesn't... I don't like it that much. At least Araku is a really nice player, so I'm sure you'll be able to work around it. But as a team, I don't think it's a great team. I think there are way better teams. 14th is the Philadelphia Flygons, coached by Super Strike 66 with Iron Thread, Skeledirge, Cinderace, Snackle Stack, Rotom, Flamingo, Alomomola, Venomoth, Lokix, Appleton, and Terra Dark. The top 4 are weak to ground, that's a thing. The ground switching is pretty much Lokix and Appleton, which, I mean, Lokix is not a bulky Pokemon, so it will take, if it's a powerful ground type, naming Garchomp for example, it will do a lot. Appleton, I mean, can take Earthquakes, but can take Ice Move, whatever. I mean, that's pretty much the thing. Another thing is Terra Dark. Skeledirge is a phenomenal Terra Captain, one of the top Terra Captains. I don't see what Terra Dark can do here for Skeledirge. Rocks is fine, Iron Threads can set up. I mean, it's not the greatest, because Iron Threads, if you want to run an offensive Iron Threads, you like coverage, not Stealth Rocks. Cinderace, again, double fire. I don't think what Cinderace and Skeledirge, they are completely different Pokemon, but like I personally don't like repeating types on the teams. And again, there are too many ground weaknesses. I mean, I guess you have a Lomomola that can take Earthquakes, but can't surf. It's not the most offensive Pokemon, so it's not gonna do much back. Rotomo with Levitate, I mean, you have that. That's a pretty decent ground switching. But that's just it. That's just it, honestly. Knuckle stack, I like it with Eviolite, but again, doesn't help the ground weaknesses. Flamingo, honestly, I don't even know what it does that well. I'm not really familiar with Flamingo. Venomoth is a nice Pokemon, but like neutral to ground. Double Bug, that's one of the things with these lower teams, a lot of repeating types, a lot of them. And I personally am not a fan of it. So mainly that's just, there's a lot of repeating types. The hazard game is, it's meh, honestly. Because I explained the Iron Threat Sing. Knuckles I can run Stealth Rocks, but I mean, if you want to run the Knuckles, the Salt Cure sets, you're gonna need like Recover, Salt Cure, Iron Defense or Curse, maybe Protect. You can fit Rocks, I guess. But that's just it about this team. I mean, it's a bit better than the other two. I don't think, but I think it has like a lot of things to be better, get better, especially the ground weakness. Ground is such an important type here that I think it will be kind of hard for the coach to play around it. Next team is the Zacatecasite Dodges, if I'm not wrong, and coach is Jensen 5, with Baxcalibur, Goldengo, Toadscruel, Gardevoir, Torkoal, Sandy Shocks, Aquatoros, Skuntank, Rotom Heat, Sawsbuck, and Terra Steel. The problem here, I mean, Baxcalibur, Goldengo, I really like it. It's a really strong offensive combination. I guess the Sun here, when I first look at Torkoal, Rotom Heat, I thought to myself, okay, what does Torkoal... I mean, I can understand Rotom Heat. I think Rotom Heat in this team works really well. I don't understand the Torkoal, honestly. I mean, you can argue Rocks, Rapid Spin, you have Toadscruel for that. Does the exact same thing. And again, double fire type. I actually think, if you look at this team, the fire switchings are Aquatoros and Rotom Heat. There's not any other fire switching. So, and I like Aquatoros doesn't like to get burned, which is a common thing on fire types, getting Will-O-Wisp, getting like Lava Plume burn, Flamethrower burn, Fire Blast burn, whatever. And I mean, I really don't see what Torkoal does here, honestly. Besides getting Rocks and Rapid Spin. But again, he has Toadscruel for that. Sandy Shocks gets Spikes and Rocks, if I'm not wrong. It's a second it's not Skuntank. Jesus. You know, the other ground electric type that exists. Again, that's just it. Sawsbuck is grass type, so it doesn't like. Again, another thing, Sawsbuck, Toadscruel, I don't like it. The main thing, the things that I like is Baxcalibur, Goldengo as offensive core. I think it's phenomenal. Rotom Heat, the Rotom forms are always nice Pokemon, especially Wash and Heat. The momentum that Heat can give into Goldengo, into Baxcalibur, even into Gardevoir that can be offensive and put a lot of pressure. I like that. But then you look at Torkoal, Rotom Heat. I mean, it doesn't make. It could take those 13 points and grab any other Pokemon. And that's just it. I don't think it fits. I think it loses synergy. I don't think this team switches well into fire at all, especially if he brings the Sun Torkoal. I mean, you can bring Torkoal without the Sun, but what's the point of bringing Torkoal without the Sun if you already have a Rotom Heat? There's the things that's the things I don't like here. And this team started really well and just lost with the Torkoal pick. I think it lost a lot of viability. The team lost a lot of viability here. Next up, the Birmingham Buizels, coached by HB, the owner of the Odbf, with Cyclizar, Masquerade, Clodsire, Pelipper, Kilowattrel, Floatzel, Armor Rouge, Revavroom, Golduck, Vivillon, and Terra Water. Now, I'm always a bit against weather teams here. Not because they are bad, but just because I think this gen, if you draft a weather team, you are locked into the weather. Like, your team doesn't work outside of the weather. I think this is a perfect example of it. It's strong. Don't get me wrong, it's strong. Terra Water Floatzel with Wave Crash, you are gonna lose Pokemon. Especially because he actually grabbed a Water Absorber. So he already took one Water Absorber in Clodsire, which I really like Clodsire on this team. But again, there's the synergy problem. This team doesn't work outside of rain. There's no synergy around it. Like, there's Meowscarada, there's Cyclizar, there's Clodsire, there's Kilowattrel, there's Armarouge. I mean, those mons work outside of weather, outside of rain. But is the team really viable? Is the team really strong without the rain? I don't think so, and that's the bigger problem that I have with this team. The other problem is one thing I'm forgetting that I don't really see. I guess is Revavroom being the. I mean, he has armor. That's the other thing. Like Armarouge in rain. I don't think. I mean, you can work outside of rain, bring Armarouge without the rain, but again, there's the problem of losing the power here outside of. I mean, at least Shed-Tail is allowed, which it can work with that. But I think the main thing of HB here is gonna be playing with the rain. I think this team, it's a nice rain team, works well. Without the rain, I don't think it's gonna work. Any other thing about this team is the Golduck. I don't think this team needs a Golduck, honestly. It's 4 points. I think you could grab any other Pokemon for 4 points. And that's pretty much it, I guess. There's any other... Like, this team hurts. Again, it hurts. But only with rain. Without... You lose rain early game, you are screwed. So that's pretty much my thoughts about this team. Next up, we have the Tokyo Typhlosions. With Great Tusk, Grimmsnarl, Noivern, Magnezone, Cloyster, Salazzle, Polteageist, Indeedemail, Gogoat, Blissey, and Terrapsychic. I don't like Terrapsychic here. I don't think I can't see anything that does here for this team. I don't think it pairs well with the team at all. I like the Parting Shot Grimmsnarl into either Cloyster and Polteageist. Polteageist is such a good Pokemon. I mean, I guess Polteageist can work with Stored Power being Terrapsychic. But I mean, you won't... The thing is, you won't be... you won't gain much by, like, Terra-typing Polteageist and going for Shell Smash. That's the thing, yeah. I mean, you can Shell Smash being a Ghost type, there's not a problem, especially with Parting Shot. But then, are you really gonna take advantage of Terrapsychic? I don't think so. Especially because being a Psychic type, you're gonna still be weak to Shadow Balls. You're gonna still be weakened to Dark Pulses, so, or knockoffs or dark moves in general. So I don't think you gain much. However, again, I still like the Parting Shot here. I think Grimmsnarl pairs really well here in this team. 2 Polteageist, 2 Cloyster, 2 Great Tusk, which is such an offensive threat. Into Magnezone, which can trap Steel types. I think the team is well-rounded. I just don't like the Terra typing. I think it's... I don't think you gain much with the Terra type. Any other thing? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much in general, my thoughts about the team. It's a good team, don't get me wrong. This is where the team's starting looking good. My main problem here is just the Terrapsychic, honestly. Actually, the speed as well. I mean, you have Salazzle, which is fine. I think Salazzle is actually a nice mon for this team as well. That's just it. Noivern. Actually, Noivern fits really well here as well. Terra Normal would be really nice here because Terra Normal Noivern with Boom Burst is actually pretty decent. And yeah, there's not great weaknesses here. I mean, Great Tusk and Noivern don't like Ice Beams, but having Magnezone, having Salazzle, even Blissey that can take most ice moves, being special. Yeah, I think that's it. Also, the top 3 being weak to Fairy. I mean, you have Magnezone, I don't think it's a big deal. You have Salazzle, I don't think it's a big deal. Still, like, I can see you bringing those 3 every single game, so that's at least half the team is going to be weakened to Fairy, which is not great. I still think you can play around it. Next up, we have Charlotte Beedrills and Coach Banette, an OG in terms of Odbf seasons. I think he's been playing, he plays a lot of them. Kingambit, Espathra, Salamence, Klefki, Talonflame, Sandaconda, Passimian, Toxapex, Oinkolong Mail, I think I pronounced that right, Rotsam, and Terra Fairy. Now, I really like the Terra here. I think it fits perfectly. Kingambit, Espathra, Salamence with Terra Fairy, Passimian as well. Phenomenal with Terra. One of the best Terra options. The best Terra option so far, at least. Works perfectly well. I think we thought this really well. My concern here, and I really like the team. I think if he plays this right, I would love a parting shot right here. If he had a parting shot, this team would rank so much. Like Grimmsnarl, for example, here would fit phenomenal. What my concern about this team is, for this to do well, it will need setup. Like Kingambit with Swords Dance, Espathra. I mean, Kingambit doesn't really need to set up to be a problem, but if he wants to really take advantage of Kingambit, he will need to set up. Espathra, same thing. Like Speed Boost, Calm Mind, he will need to set up. Salamence is a really nice choice band user, but most likely is going to be heavy duty put with Dragon Dance. So again, setup. So those are the top 3, and 3 Pokemon that I can see him bringing every single week. And that's my biggest concern. It really needs setup to be able to do something. I mean, it doesn't need setup to do something, but to be effective, for this team to be able to bring the best, I think they will need setup. And that's the thing. I mean, he can easily set up with Terra Fairy. Again, Terra Fairy with the top 3, which are the sweepers. It works so well. But again, you will only be able to Terra 1 Pokemon. And if that goes wrong, I think the team loses a lot of viability. Passimian is a really nice low tier fighting type. Sandaconda, a really nice low tier ground type. But again, the main things here are just the setup that this team needs to be able to just crush. Now, if he gets the setup, don't get me wrong, it crushes teams. Like Espathra, Kingambit, Salamence alone, 3 really really scary setup mons. But again, it really needs the setup to be able to bring the best of the team. Next up, Maple Defenders, coached by Bandit Caterpie, Dragonite, Tinglu, Slowbro, Aircross, Mousehold, Bertic, Abomasnow, Bellybolt, Tyranitar, Quillfish, and Terra Ground. Now, I don't really understand the Terra Ground. I mean, with the snow, I guess he can Terra Ground Bertic or Terra Ground Abomasnow and just kill the fire types that are the threats. But I mean, I maybe Terra Ground Tinglu to remove the dark type, being even more annoying defensively. I really like Slowbro Tinglu as a defensive core here. Abomasnow can work as well here as a defensive Pokemon with Aurora Veil. Tyranitar here, I mean, I'm not the biggest Tyranitar fan without the Sand strategy, but I mean, it can work here with Slowbro. I would personally take those 14 points for another Pokemon, but that's just me. Dragonite is really scary with Dragon Dance. Again, that's the other thing with Tyranitar. If you bring Tyranitar, Dragonite, you have to be worried for not taking Sandship with Dragonite. That will take away the multi-scale. So I personally don't like the Tyranitar, but I think it's a scary team. Aircross, phenomenal fighting type. I love Heracross. It's so scary. It's so hard to switch into Heracross. The defensive backbone of Slow Road Singlu, a bit weakened to U-turn, especially with the... I think that's the other thing. I think this team is kind of weak to U-turn momentum, to U-turn pivoting, but is strong offensively. Like Bertic in Hail will hurt a lot. Dragonite with Dragon Dance will hurt a lot. Heracross will hurt a lot. The Quillfish, I guess it's fine. Even if he has the slow row, I mean, Quillfish gives you the spikes, the toxic spikes, to pressure, then so you can pressure your opponent and just bring like Scarf Heracross or Dragon Dance Dragonite to clean in the end. Even the Bertic with the Hail. Mousehold is fine. I mean, it won't be able to do much to steel types, but that's just it. He has the removal ability, the after removal move, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a decent team. I would change the Terra, honestly. I would change Tyranitar, but that's just it. The rest, I think it's pretty fine. So it's a solid 9th overall rank for the Maple Defenders. Next up, Happy Farm Pokemon and Coach Mo. With Iron Valiant, Bronzong, Lycanroc, Dusk, Serena, Staraptor, Vaporeon, Pomot, Mabostiff, Camerupt, Drifblim, and Sarah Rock. With 10 points remaining, just so you know, Mo, when I start doing this, I put you 4th. But the more I look into this, it's just... it's weird. Your team it's really weird. First, the Terror Rock with Lycanroc is stupidly good. Like, Lycanroc, it's so hard with Tough Claws. Having Terror Rock to boost that stab is just stupid. It's gonna be really hard for teams to switch into Terror Rock, Lycanroc. Like, it's gonna be really, really hard. It's gonna be so strong. Then, the Iron Valiant, I think it's one of the best Pokemon in this meta so far, being able to be physical, special, mixed, and be able to do tons of work. The Bronzong, I think it fits here, but then, I mean, it's really weird. The Vaporeon, I think it works as well, but then Camerupt, Mabostiff, I think having Camerupt and Mabostiff as the last two, and Drifblim can work with, I've lost games to Drifblim, so I think it can work. But having Mabostiff, Camerupt being your ground type, and I don't buy it, I really don't. I think having a good ground type is really important. Camerupt is not a good ground type. At least you have Pomot that can be immune to electric moves, but at the same time, you want to run Iron Fist. I mean, you don't really want to run Iron... I mean, some games you'll like to run Iron Fist. I think this team is, again, like the last one, kind of weak to momentum, but this time weak to U-turn and Volt Switch. The thing I like here is that it's so hard. Just Iron Valiant, Lycanroc, Dusk, Staraptor, 3 Pomot as well if you run the Iron, what's it called? The ability, the punch ability. I think it hits hard. Defensively, having Bronzong, Serena. I mean, Serena is not really can be a support one. But like having Bronzong, Serena being the removal here, I mean Staraptor gets defog, but you don't want to run. I'm not sure if Staraptor runs defog anymore. I'm not sure about that. But Serena gets Rapid Spin is going to be the main removal. Again, having the fire weakness with Bronzong. I mean, you have Vaporeon, I guess, but it's pretty much the only thing. He's going to be really pressured of setting up witches to pass into the team. It's a decent team. It's really hard, really hard. The defensive backbone of the team, I have some doubts about it, and that's why I put it in 8th and not higher. It was higher in the early power rankings, but I put it a bit lower because of the defensive backbone of the team. Because offensively, I truly enjoy this. 7 is the Fierty Path Flygons with fpflygon coach, with Garchomp, Atrin, Umbreon, Scizor, Quagsire, Jolteon, Charizard, Komala, Frostless, Primeape, and Terra Electric. Now, I really like the top 5. Garchomp, Atrin, Umbreon, Scizor, Quagsire. This is bulky. This is annoying. It's stupidly bulky. Like, he has 2 Wishers in Umbreon and Komala. Garchomp, Atrin, Scizor, really nice combination. Then we can argue about the Jolteon with Terra Electric. I mean, every team is gonna have a ground type, so I assume Jolteon won't do much to ground types. Unless you get rid of them and then Jolteon clicks Terra Electric and goes through teams. Charizard here, I like with Terra Electric, especially having Dragon Dance. I think it can just, because you're gonna bring Water type to try to stop Charizard, is gonna click Terra Electric, Terra Blast with Terra Electric. I think that's a nice combination. It doesn't do much more than those 2 mons, like Jolteon and Charizard. Again, I like the offensive Garchomp. Scizor with Choice Band is phenomenal, so I really enjoy that. Atrin with Magic Bounce, I think it's pretty cool, just to so your opponent has to think twice before go for hazards, as the Rapid Spin Komala. So not only relies on Atrin to stop hazards. Primeape, it's really cool this generation, with especially bulk up. If you like bulk up Primeape, it's really cool. I guess with Terra Electric can work to only have the weakness to ground. And that's just it, I guess. Quagsire is nice with rocks, spikes, and toxic spikes. I enjoy this, that's why it has a solid 7. Besides Jolteon and Garchomp and Charizard, I mean, yes, speed. I mean, Garchomp losing Scale Shot is big. But it's a big downfall between Jolteon and Garchomp, you see. Yes, Frostless. Okay, ignore what I said. Frostless actually puts this team with the speed it's decent. Yeah, and that's just it. So it's a nice team for a solid 7. I mean, the top 8 here were really nice teams, so it was kind of hard to rank them, but it's a nice team. It's a nice team. Next up, Path of Braviary, coached by Nono, with Dragapult, Quackavolt, Tinkaton, Volcarona, Grafaiai, Crocodile, Evolug, Brute Bonnet, Rotom-Fan, Ariyama. I'm gonna start with what I don't like, which is having Quackavolt and Ariyama double fighting. I don't think it does much, especially because I think this team has a weakness to Fairy. Like, the switch-ins to Fairy are Tinkaton and Volcarona. Grafaiai is not a switch into Fairy because most Fairies get psychic coverage, so they are really, it's really not a switch-in. I guess Parnish out Grafaiai with Prankster, it's nice. Another thing I'll say is Dragapult, Quackavolt, Volcarona, it's really cool. It's really cool. Offensively, it's phenomenal. And Dragapult as a Terra Captain, stupidly good. But I would rather have Terra Ghost, not Terra Dragon. Because, like, if you look at the meta so far, there are not many Ghost switch-ins. There are really not. Like, normal types barely exist. And dark types, I mean, they are not really Dragapult switch-ins. When you have, like, U-Turn, Dragon Dance, Dragon Darts, they are really not switch-ins. But I think Dragapult with Terra Dragon can be scary. Not saying it can be scary. I think this team would be way more threatening if he had Terra Ghost with Dragapult. I mean, maybe he was sniped on the Terra and I'm just it's not his fault. Quackavolt here, I mean, I think with Quaquaval, Volcarona, and Dragapult, it's a really offensive, a really nice combination. I'm not I'm not a Brute Bonnet fan, so but at the same time I don't have much knowledge about it. I think it has a ground weakness, honestly. I mean, Rotom Fan gets the Levitate ability, of course. Brute Bonnet being a grass type, but that's just it. So I think the banned Earthquakes can hurt this team. But I mean, offensively it's so threatening. Dragapult, Quaquaval, Volcarona, Crocodile offensively with Moxie, Scarf Moxie, scary, especially having Parting Shot Grafai with Prankster, scary as well. I think it's more what I like here is the offensive. This team offensively, it's really hard to switch in. It's really hard to switch in. Tinkaton is nice, viable as a defensive Pokemon. Support with rocks. I mean, can do things. It's decent. Ariyama, I really like Ariyama this gen as well. It's just I don't see why Ariyama and Quaquaval on the same team. If you had Quaquaval, you don't need Ariyama. If you wanted Ariyama, you could have another Pokemon other than Quaquaval. I think this will only make your fairy switch-ins worse. Rotom Fan, it works perfectly here with Volt Switch. And that's just it. So I like this offensively. Defensively, I think you will struggle against fairy types mainly, but that's just it. Next up, the All-in Heatmors, coached by Taxi, Iron Moth, Corviknight, Rotom, Wash, Wushian, Garganacl, Florges, Espeon, Medicham, Goodra, Basculin, and Terra Ghost. Now, I know Taxi got sniped a lot, like really a lot, but I think it did a pretty good job. I think this team is really well-rounded. Corviknight, Rotom, Wash, Wushian, Garganacl, Florges, Goodra, like the wish support that Florges gives to these mons. I mean, I think it's just strong. It's gonna be really hard to break this team. Then the offensive Iron Moth, the Medicham, which is offensive with pure power. It's at the same time it's gonna be hard to switch. I guess this team can, because you're not gonna bring Medicham every single game. I don't feel that. I mean, you can. I actually think you need, because I think this team, it's hard to break. It has heavy hitters like again Iron Moth, Medicham. It can lack some offensive pressure sometimes, and that's my only concern about this team. Is it can lack offensive pressure. Espeon can be offensive, but it's not the greatest. I don't think it's a Pokemon that you bring every single week as well. So that's pretty much the thing. I think it's gonna rely a lot on Iron Moth and Medicham to do damage. Gargan is gonna rely on setup Garganacl, but again, honestly, I think Garganacl is overrated. I think there's an item that completely counters Garganacl, so I don't think it's not amazing, and it can work for 14 points. My biggest problem with the team, I think it's really well-rounded. It works, it fits, has a lot of synergy. It just lacks offensive pressure, and that's the main thing about the team. He has Iron Moth especially, and Medicham physically. That's pretty much it. The Kemptville Kingdras in 4th with Azumarill, Hydreigon, Hawlucha, Amoonguss, Orthworm, Mudsdale, Arcanine, Electros, Colossal, Sneasel, and Terra Poison. Really smart Terra option here, especially with Hydreigon, Hawlucha, and Orthworm. So if you guys have you probably know, but if you don't know, Orthworm ability is immune to ground moves. So if it goes Terra Poison, it will pretty much only be weakened to Psychic types. Psychic moves, rather. Hawlucha as a Terra Poison, I mean, will be able to beat the fairies. Same with Hydreigon with Nasty Plot and Dragon Dance. I mean, I'm not sure if he still gets those moves, but I mean, you get. Like, Hydreigon is a Pokemon that hits so hard. It's kind of stopped by fairies, but being a Terra Poison, it's gonna be really hard to switch into that Pokemon. and just the synergy that this team has. I really like it. Azumarill, a dragon with a Lucha, Munga, Ferrothorns, Buizels, Arcanine, like Pokemon that work really well together. Only thing I will say, it's maybe as removable. I mean, it has Rapid Spin Colossal. It's a Colossal, so that's a thing. So this team has to be, yes, defog a Lucha, but like, nah, you're not gonna run defog on a Lucha. You don't want that. Other than that, I like this team. I think it's offensively great. Has really nice defensive backbone. It just needs a better Azure removal. Yes, Azure Sedges, Spikes, Earthworm, Rocks, Mudsdale. Among Us spamming Spores would be phenomenal for this team, especially to set up with Azu, Lucha. The thing here that I don't like is Azure removal. Being Colossal, I think it's bad. That's the only thing. Other than that, I truly enjoy the team. Top 3. Third, Flying Feraligatrs with Jiggypoo. Chi-Yu, Slowking, Iron Threads, Fortress, Gyarados, Dragalge, Palossand, Weavile, Lilligant, and Tinka Tough. With Grass Terra. Grass Terra here, stupidly good Terra, with Chi-Yu being able to Terra Grass and nuke water types. Gyarados being able to Terra Grass and nuke water types as well. I think those are phenomenal. Gyarados all it needs a Dragon Dance and a Moxie Boost to go through teams. Chi-Yu doesn't have great switch-ins, honestly, so it's gonna be really hard for teams to deal with. I think Chi-Yu is amazing. The defensive backbone are Slowking, Fortress, Iron Hands really bulky, Dragalge bulky with adaptability, it's hard as well. It's a really well-rounded team, honestly, offensively and defensively, as others with Fortress that can set up hazards, remove hazards, Palossand can set up rocks. I think it's a really nice team. I really enjoy. I don't have much to say about it. Only thing I will say is besides Weavile, it's a bit slow because it, if I'm not wrong, it downs from Weavile to Chi-Yu. It's a big downfall in my opinion. With Dragon Dance Gyarados, I think it can patch that up, but it has to deal with Scar first. So that's the only thing I will point. It's the speed tiers being from Weavile to Chi-Yu, which I think it's a big downfall. I will grab a Pokemon with around 110 speed. I think it will work pretty well. Other than that, I truly enjoy the team. I think it's really well-rounded. There's a lot of synergy, setup options. It doesn't need to set up to do damage, but it has setup options as well. And a really nice Terra option. Terra Grass actually works with Iron Heads as well. So yeah, I think this team, it's really cool. Second place to Lahore and Leles with Chinpao, Gengar, Axorus, Sylveon, Gastrodon, Blastoros, Braviary, Brambleghast, Toxtricity, Coriocnol, and Terrafire. Again, a really nice Terra option here. Chinpao that can go through steel types without a I mean, yeah, it had Sacred Sword and Crunch, honestly, Crunch. Does a lot to steel types as well. But just setting up a Source Dance and go for a Terrafire, it just nukes every single steel type in the game. Gengar with Chinpao, it's gonna be so hard to switch in. Axorus, Sylveon, Gastrodon, Blastoros, I think a lot of synergy, a lot of hard hitters. Terrafire with Coriocnol, it's amazing. I'm actually using that on the league as well. I think, and like Coriocnol being able to hit steel types, he was never able to do that. It can do that now without a problem. Toxtricity with Terra Normal would be a nice option as well, but like Toxtricity is still a nice Pokemon even without the Terra option. Again, I really like this team. I think it's really well-rounded. He has bulk. He has really offensive threats. Like I can't even. Axorus sets up a Dragon Dance. You bring your Fairy switch in. He goes for Terrafire. He resists the Fairy move. I mean, it's phenomenal. I really enjoy this. The more I look into this, the more I like it. It's really cool. It's really cool. As hazards with Gastrodon, as Brahmagast, I'm not sure if it gets Rapid Spin, but Coriocnol does get Rapid Spin, which is fine. Yeah, really nice team. I really enjoy it. And Blastoros with Bulk Up and Terrafire, again, I enjoy that as well. Actually, Blastoros might be one of the best Chimpal switch-ins, and it grabs that. So, yeah, I really enjoy this. I think it's a really nice team. First, the th-Carioca Krooks with Rorymoon, Glimora, Slithering, Dondozo, Magneton, Hippowdon, Mismagius, Squawkabilly, Morgrem, Dreadnought, and Terraflying. this is a really strong team. It's a really strong team. The Terra option flying with the booster energy, Roaring Moon, and acrobatics. It's so good. It's so good. Slithering can really benefit from flying as well. For the same reason, I think it gets acrobatics. The Hippowdon Dondozo core, it's strong, especially having the flying ability, the flying Terra option that can remove the grass weakness. Magneton as a Terra captain is so cool. I've used Magneton as a Terra captain. I really enjoy it. It carried me through games. It's really cool. But like if you look at the top, I mean, I don't even like Morgrem with Parting. I think Morgrem gets Parting Shot as well. I mean, there are so many nice options here. I truly enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I have nothing to say about. Like, I can't even. I could argue the lacking of removal if it's against the Steel type, because Glimora has the Immortal Spin. And that's just it. I don't think you can. I'm not sure if Squawkabilly can run Defog, but if he can, I mean, you don't wanna run Defog Squawkabilly. You just wanna have a Scarf or a Choice Band and just go for Hustle, Brave Birds, or U-turns or whatever. Yeah, and that's just it. I love the team. I really enjoy. I really love it. I think teams will struggle a lot. This is a team that can win a league. Honestly, this is a winning team. But yeah, that's just it. So there's almost 15 minutes of video. There was a lot. I covered a lot of all the teams. I hope you guys enjoyed. These are my thoughts for all the teams. If you don't agree with me, you can comment the video and say I'm an idiot. You are not wrong. So I want to wish good luck to every single coach, and most importantly, have fun. I think that's the most important thing in the game, is to have fun. So hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna just get out of here because yeah, 15 minutes of video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. So peace, guys.